Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Fifer, served up by Wendy's on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan. Download the Wendy's app today.
It is that time again. Welcome in, y'all, as we broadcast live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan studios. See Sparky Fifer, Charlie Usen producing today's show. Thanks for tuning us in. It's going to be a fun one today, man. Peter Bukowski, Locked On Packers, Leap Newsletter. He's got some thoughts on what we've been talking about the last couple of days. Comments made by film analysts that said that maybe the defense was held together by duct tape, and maybe there's going to be some regression possibly going this year if Xavier McKinney maybe doesn't have that type of year again for the Green Bay Packers. So we will jump into that with Peter Bukowski coming up. We'll also talk about the front seven for the Green Bay Packers. Is he of the belief that only Rashawn Gary being that top 20 edge rusher, is that enough to get after the quarterback? Do they need to do more to put themselves in a position to talk about going to a Super Bowl? So all of that comes up at 2:40. Tim Dillard, FanDuel Sports Network, Wisconsin Brewers analyst. He's supposed to join us at 3:20. We'll talk to him about the red-hot Milwaukee Brewers. And Charlie, I'm curious, how you feeling over there, man? I mean, it's 1.5. I mean, Cubs were up last I saw, so it'll be 2 after today. But 1.5 going in to today. I mean, things have changed somewhat in the last month and a half.
So the Cubs are winning 7-1 right now.
That's good. So not going to get swept by the Twins.
So they're not going to get swept by the Twins. Thank God. Me and my dad were talking about it last night. This is kind of sad what's going on there. But also, like, I responded to Tom the Teacher on Twitter today. He's always tweeting at the shows here at The Fan. He was saying it was kind of funny and that he loved hearing me say we when I was talking about the Brewers yesterday. And like I told him, I may be a Cubs fan.
I will say this. Charlie roots for the Brewers when they're not playing the Cubs. I will give me a Bible, whatever you want me to swear on. I will swear on it. The man was rooting for him. He was rooting for him again yesterday in that game for them to come back and trio to get that big hit. So he does root for the Brewers. It's very confusing. It's similar to my kid, same type of deal. Cubs fan, but he also roots for the Brewers.
I told Tom on there that I may be a Cubs fan, but I was raised at Miller Park, and that's what it was. And when they're not playing the Cubs, I'm cheering for the Brewers. Yes, man. I'm there.
It's very cool. So game and a half back coming into today as the Cubs are desperately trying not to get swept by the Twins at this point. Brewers start their series against the Nationals at American Family Field coming up tomorrow. Another guest coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. I love having this dude on. He's so much fun. We've had him on once, twice, something like that. AJ Perzinski, Foul Territory TV. He will join us coming up at 4:20. Of course, a former longtime MLB catcher, was with the White Sox for quite some time. We'll have him on at 4:20. Don't forget, you can stream us now on YouTube. Go check us out on youtube.com/@thefanmilwaukee. Again, the @ symbol, @thefanmilwaukee, and let us know what you think. Okay, so when I went to bed last night, I was not thinking that Giannis was going to be my lead to start the show this afternoon on this radio station. No. I went to bed last night. First off, let me file a complaint. Can I file a complaint to society?
Sure.
There was not enough Brewers content for me last night when I went home. There wasn't. MLB Network, I got stuck watching some garbage regional baseball game. That lasted like 5 minutes and I turned it off. So there was nothing there. I go to ESPN, which is always a no-no, but SportsCenter tends not to be all loud. So I go to SportsCenter. I got my highlight package. They showed the highlight package of the game. That was it. And that was the end of it. When I left here, I turned on MLB radio to see, hey, are we going to talk about the Brewers and the Dodgers? And you know what I heard? Dan Plesac just going off on MLB Network. Dodgers aren't as good as y'all say they are. Their pitching isn't as good as y'all say they are. You got to be available to matter anyhow. And some dude, again, because it was on the radio, and they were simulcasting the TV, obviously. And I'm listening, and some dude was like, Dan, they could have 21 different pitchers in the playoffs if they wanted to. They could pitch a different guy every game, and they'd still be really good at pitching. Dan's like, nope, I don't believe it. I don't know if they'll even get to 95 wins at this point. And they were going back. Plesac was not hearing about how great this Dodgers team was. Just not having it. I'm in my car clapping. Yeah, get him, Daddy. Get him, Plesac. Oh, it was so much fun. So I had that, I guess. But outside of that, there wasn't much else. And then then you know what I did? So you know The Athletic, they don't have a Brewers writer. And it irritates the you-know-what out of me, right? So I was like, okay. So I typed in Dodgers. They don't have a Dodgers writer either, I don't think. There was a Dodger article up, and you scroll down, there was no other Dodger articles as far down as I went. So maybe there's one guy writing a piece on the Dodger 6-game slide that somebody got assigned to. But outside of that, they don't got one there either. Why don't they like baseball over there? I don't understand. It's like ESPN. They don't like baseball either. I don't get it. Baseball's a great sport. You should all love it. I said we were going to talk about Giannis, and I got sidetracked by the Brewers again. I kind of am mildly obsessed with the Brewers right now. Like, might be a little obsessed. All right, so Giannis was somewhere. Where was Giannis? Some other country.
Back home in Greece.
He's in Greece, right?
He's in Greece,
okay.
Yep.
And some dude named I Speed or Speed, or I was in the movie Speed. I love Speed. What's this guy's name?
I Show Speed.
I Show Speed.
He just goes by Speed usually, yeah.
Speed, right.
Yep.
Okay, so the dude's wearing like a soccer jersey or something in this, and he gets a interview with Giannis. And not just an interview with Giannis. Like, they sit down at the table, they talk, they're driving around in vehicle, going places. They do all kinds of stuff, right? And Giannis just rolling with this dude, hanging out, and they're live streaming like the whole thing. So this morning, obviously, I don't know who this dude is, so clearly I am not paying attention to what this dude does, so I would have no idea Giannis was even on. But somebody that I follow on Twitter, one of our listeners, posted a clip from it, and I was like, what is this? So then I click on the Twitter account. I was like, oh, no, look at all this stuff going on right now. So I'm like forwarding Charlie like crazy. I want this, I want this, I want that. And we'll play back some of the clips coming up at 3 o'clock. But we're going to lead with one clip that has made its way to the front page of ESPN, and everybody is talking about said one clip. Brian Windhorst. They asked Brian Windhorst. Brian Windhorst goes, I'm sorry, I don't know who that is. I was like, see, Charlie? See? All of us old people don't know who the heck this is. I'm sure young people know who this I Show Speed show.
I Show Speed.
I Show Speed. Yeah. And he's not like a former athlete. He's not a former radio or TV personality. No. Some random dude.
I mean, I guess, yeah. He's a streamer. It's a job now, Sparky.
I guess you can make a lot of money, yeah. Uh-huh. I've heard.
He makes a lot of money.
So here is Giannis when asked about staying in Milwaukee. Now, leading up to this I Show Speed character was like, man, Texas and New York are awful. And he's going over all these cities where the taxes are awful or whatever else. And then he gets to asking about Milwaukee.
So you staying in Milwaukee? Probably. We'll see. See. Probably. I love Milwaukee.
No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. I am about done with all of this. I am. I'm getting visibly mad. I got so mad. You could ask Charlie. When I heard this, F-bombs flying, whole deal. He is getting to the point of being worse than maybe LeBron. Maybe getting to the point of being worse than LeBron. I didn't think anybody could be worse than LeBron as far as look at me, talk about me, look at me, talk about me. We are getting to that point with Giannis. We are. Now, that's not to say he's not a nice guy. That's not to say that, kids shouldn't look up to him, whatever. Fine. This whole thing here with just not ending it and playing these stupid games, if I was John Horst, I would have broke something in my office. I would have saw that. I would have broke something in my office. As I told Eric Name, as I've told Jim Ozarski, and as I've said before, if you don't trust these guys by this point, what are you going to do? Like, I don't get it. Then just ask for a trade, man. If you don't trust Horst and you don't trust ownership that you got to play these stupid, dumb games, then ask for a trade, man. Ask for a trade. You don't want to be here. Instead of all this random crap of, oh, probably, I don't know, probably. And then that character I never even heard of, I Show Speed, Yeah, you know what that was? That was like, that's going viral. That's what that was. That's going viral. And immediately, ESPN, whoop, there's Windhorse, Tim McMahon, and we're talking about, he could say that he's staying in Milwaukee because he said I love Milwaukee? That didn't mean nothing. I love Milwaukee. Who cares? Who cares? He could have ended it right there and said, you know what, man? Everybody keeps acting like I'm leaving Milwaukee. I'm not going nowhere, man. I'm going to be a Buck this fall. Everybody stop talking about me. I'm going to be a Buck. Now that's that. What else do you want to talk about? Should have ended it right there. Yet again, another opportunity. But look at me, Giannis. Can't have that happen, right? Look at me. Talk about me. I'm Giannis. Talk about me, whether or not I'm leaving or not. I love all the attention. I am so mad about this whole thing. Again, if I was Horst, if I was Edens, Facitelli, Jamie Dinan, not Haslam, he just got here. But these other dudes that spent all this damn money and luxury tax money going towards a second apron, hundreds of millions of dollars, Brewers owner wouldn't have spent probably $10 million in luxury tax money. And these dudes are spending all this money, and you play games like this. You apparently, we're all good with Miles Turner. They go and get you Miles Turner, and we're still playing games. Well, I don't know. Probably. I've had my fill, man. I love Giannis. Guys, jerseys, all that, but I'm done with this game. I'm done with all the antics. Either you're in or you're not, dude. You know what this is? This is Brett Favre. I don't know, man. I might retire. Give me a month. I'll get back to you. All right, I'll play. And then the next year, this went for 5 years with Brett Favre. Then the next year, I need 2 months this year. I'll get back to you. Meanwhile, Rodgers is left dangling in the wind, not knowing if he's going to get to play or not, because this cat keeps on stretching it out to the draft and keep moving forward. Then what happened? Then Rodgers got his time. What'd he do? I will go jump into a hole and be by myself. I'll let you know what I find out when I come out of my hole. He pulled the same garbage. Now, at least he was kind of communicating with love through all this. Same thing. Look at me. Talk about me. I don't know. And now here we go with Giannis. This, to me, this is worse than what Rodgers and Brett. It's worse than both of them. For both of those guys, it was, I'm older. Well, Rodgers not as much. Favre, I'm older. Maybe he will retire. I don't know. We'll see. Could happen. But dragging it in, look at me, look at me. This wasn't do something or I'm leaving. That's not what Brett was doing. Probably wanted to, but never said it out loud that I remember. Rodgers, don't believe he ever said it. And this cat ain't saying it either. But you know what? That's what this is. What's he waiting for? Bradley Beal? Waiting for his guy Russell Westbrook to show up? Then I'm going to say I'm in? Is that what this is all about? But I have no control. I have no control of what's going on with the Bucks. It's their job. It's not my job. Sick of it. Sick of the whole damn thing. All of it. You can take all of it and shove it. I've had my fill, man. I don't know. I'm probably like the only one in the entire state of Wisconsin that's mad at this dude. And if I am, that's fine. But I am sick of this. Because there is a large part of me that believes he never had any intent of ever leaving. Never. Then they do the Miles Turner deal that nobody saw coming. And then I get these reports. Whoa, he's not happy with how it was handled. Okay, cool. You can have that. That's fine. You could be mad that he found out watching TV or social media. You have every right to be mad about that. That's fine. But let's not leverage and play that like you didn't know they were about to get Miles Turner. You knew. File reports, you knew. You were supportive of the whole thing. Then I got John Henson coming out saying you blocked a Jimmy Butler, Chris Middleton deal back in the day. And this whole time you kept telling all of us you had no say. Oh, it's the basketball people. Well, look at what we got here. Now we got some evidence of you are having say you are blocking things. That was years ago. I can only imagine how much power you have now, and you deserve the power, Giannis. But when they bend over backwards for you at every level of that organization, and you play games with them summer after summer, that's crap. That's absolute crap. And they, John Horst and Fagan and all those guys, have way more patience for you than I would. Way more patience. Because I'm not a patient person to begin with. But if I'm going to bend over backwards and do everything I can to keep you, because you are the greatest player in Bucks history, if I'm going to do all that, least you can do is be like, yeah, man. I mean, they bend over backwards, try and get us in a position to win a championship every year. Man, I'm not going to get better than this anywhere else. I love the city. I love the fans. I love the people. I'm not going nowhere. I know they're doing their best to try and get us into a position. That's the least you could do for all the crap they've done for you. And instead, well, probably, I don't know, probably love Milwaukee. And you take the little clip of him, I say I love. If you love Milwaukee, you would have ended this before you even got to the I love Milwaukee part. But have your fun in Greece, man. Enjoy yourself. Go ahead.
You're blowing this so far out.
I am so mad.
Man.
He could have ended it, and yet again, like every other opportunity where he could have ended it, he chose not to. String the drama out some more for everybody to talk about me. Get out of here.
This is so much nothing.
And Shams Charania? Do you know what Shams Charania is doing right now? I told you. Y'all said he was staying. He ain't staying.
This is so much nothing.
He's staying. That's what Charania is doing right now. Charania is telling every Bucks fan to shut up because you all told him
you're
he's not going
overanalyzing
anywhere.
one word he used.
No, he used it over and over. Let's listen to it again.
He used it twice.
Let's listen again.
So you staying in Milwaukee? Probably. We'll see.
We'll see. That's going viral.
Probably. I love Milwaukee.
We'll see.
Why
what do we have to see?
Why haven't the Milwaukee Bucks said anything? Why have they not come out and said that they don't want to trade him? Why have they not come out and said that they're frustrated with him going out and saying stuff like this?
The Highness may not approve. The Highness Giannis. Worship the
Highness Giannis, where
get out of here.
In 95% of the other clips that are with I Show Speed in this whole stream are him goofing around with the guy. Come on. This is not something that you're...
They were sitting at a table having a conversation.
Talking about whether or not Speed was in the Illuminati or something. Come on.
They were talking about taxes and different things. He asked him the question. He was serious. He wasn't horsing around. He could have ended it right there and decided, you know what? I've played this thing on for 3-4 months. Might as well keep it going a little bit longer. No, crap. He could have ended it when he had that conversation on social media with Bobby Portis. And Bobby Portis was like, I know my guy Giannis, man. He bleeds green. And Giannis' response was, yeah, whatever. What about you? Could have ended right there. You're right, I do. I'm coming back. Now, what about you? You coming back with me? Could have ended it there. Did he? No. He's had every opportunity to end this on social media, and at every opportunity, sidesteps and won't commit. Every time. Every single time.
Or ESPN and us could stop running with this probably and stop running with all of that.
Oh, so it's our fault for him not committing.
I think we're egging him on. That
dude ain't connected to ESPN. I don't even know who that guy is. You're the guy that said you knew who I Show Speed is.
He's got 17 million subscribers. He's been featured on ESPN multiple times, Sparky.
Why do you think he asked him? Because he hasn't given an answer to
Because he knows
anybody.
it'll get a clip no matter what the answer is. He knows it'll get him 17 million views no matter what Giannis says in that moment. That's crazy.
I thought he already had all these clips.
So he's going to keep getting more because it's more money. Are you kidding me?
Regardless of whether or not he did it for clicks or not, to me, that's not even the point. The point is he could have ended it, and yet again, he chose not to. And to me, that's utter crap. So we'll continue on. Now, again, who knows? Maybe Sharani and all these guys will be right, because right now they're pounding their chest going, told you this wasn't a done deal. You Bucks fans think it's a done deal. It ain't a done deal. He still ain't committed. Keeps saying he loves Milwaukee, but that doesn't mean anything. All that we need to know is, are you in or are you out? That's what we need to know. He still hasn't said yes. Now, again, you're defending him. You defend him at every turn. He comes back from Greece and goes, nah, I'm out, man. Trade me. What are y'all going to say then?
We're going to be frustrated with him because we believed in him. Sparky.
Believed in what? He hasn't committed to anything.
Why do you believe so much in the Bucks front office in this situation? Why do you believe so much in? Why are you trusting everything that they aren't saying?
Oh, let me explain. Tell me again. Did they need to give up all those assets to get Drew Holiday? No. Why did they? Keep him happy. Did they have
And he
to
stayed and signed another contract.
Because they got him Drew.
He stayed and signed another contract.
I understand
he
that.
Filled his side of the promise.
Charlie,
you can't blame him.
Hold on a second. Let me talk. They went and got him Drew. They won a championship. Then he, like always, gets hurt in the playoffs. Can't stay healthy. Oh, gotta do more. So then we went and got Damian Lillard because you can't stay healthy in the playoffs and somebody's got to carry your water while you're out watching. So they go and they get Damian Lillard to come in here. And Lillard gets hurt for 2 years. Giannis is hurt for the first year as well. By some miracle, he gets healthy for this last postseason. And now we're back to, I don't know, probably. Get out of here. Let's see here. Turner on YouTube. You can hop in too. Sorry about yelling and screaming this whole time. Nicolay Law Fan Talking Text Line 414-677-1250. 414-677-1250. Facebook and Twitter at The Fan Milwaukee. Sound off with a recorded voice message on the Odyssey app. Turner on YouTube, where you can stream us live on YouTube. All you have to do is go to at The Fan Milwaukee, and you can watch us, me screaming and yelling, turning different shades of red. Turner says, drives up the value of our first-round picks available for trade compared to if he just said he's staying. Perhaps behind closed doors, they're on a better page than what's portrayed to the public and the GMs. Okay. I'll buy that. Sure. I'll buy that. Meaning, you're trying to get someone to buy in that 31 Giannis may not be here and blah, blah, blah. So he keeps playing this game with everybody around the league thinking he might leave, and now that pick in 31 or 32 now might be worth even more because everybody thinks he's leaving. Then that pick goes for whatever they get back, and presto, now I'm in and I'm staying and screw your draft pick. I guess. Sure. Could be. I'm with that. That makes sense to me. Makes a lot of sense to me. I don't know if that's what's going on or not. I'm just telling you, from my standpoint, as a fan, I've had my fill. Listen, y'all, look at this. Look at this. Look at my phone. You see all those text messages?
I do.
They all have phones. Use it and call in, man. All these people are blowing me up about what I'm saying. Go ahead, call in. You don't got to just text me privately. Nicolay Law Fan Talking Text Line 414-677-1250. 414-677-1250. So beyond done with all of this stuff. So beyond done. Okay, so I got some text messages here. From my buddy Ian. LOL, all these owners in Horse know he isn't leaving. You're mad about nothing. He's under contract. Why does he have to stay? He's staying. Get serious. Ian, my pal, my buddy. You're right. He is under contract. You're absolutely correct. But you would think at some point he would be like, why are we all talking about this? He could say that. I'm under contract for 3 more years. We don't need to talk about me going anywhere till my contract's up. Could say that. Right? Have that conversation. We're done. We don't need to talk about this. My contract's up and I get to free agency or 2 years. I have the option. We can talk about this then. Y'all want to have that conversation. But I'm under contract with Milwaukee, so that's where I'm playing. He could say that. You're right, Ian. He could. Why isn't he? Why isn't he? Why isn't he just ending it? You had all these people on social media, just like that Sharania thing. Remember? Sharania said that one thing. What did he say? He didn't reply back to Shams and go, dude, I'm staying in Milwaukee. Dude, enough is enough. Stop with all this. He could have said that on Twitter. He didn't. Anybody miss Woj? No confirmation, no denial. Anybody miss Woj? And Bucks fans, we run to, see, Shams is an idiot. Okay. Fair enough. Y'all think about it. And yet again, hasn't said anything. Now, do I think he's going anywhere? No, I don't. I think it's all a game. But what irritates me about this game is it doesn't need to be played by any stretch of the imagination unless you don't trust your ownership group or you don't trust your GM and they've let you down in the past and you don't think they'll do you right if you go, I'm staying. If you don't trust them, play your game. If they've let you down in the past, play your game. I get it. I don't believe either one of those things are true. That is what makes me irritated. Coming up still, Peter Bukowski, Locked on Packers, and the Elite Newsletter coming up at 2:40. But coming up next, we'll change gears. We'll go to the Milwaukee Brewers. I had an interesting discussion earlier this afternoon about the Brewers bullpen. We'll dive into that coming up next. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the 1250 AM at 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Time for your fan weather forecast. 78 degrees, partly cloudy skies right now. Looking like clear skies for the rest of the night, at least until we get to overnight. Then it looks like we have some rain coming up during the overnight tonight. Low of 66. All right, so we were talking off the air, Charlie and I. We were talking about the Brewers. We're not talking about the Brewers. We're going to have another conversation about this Giannis thing in a different direction because I'm going to bring it onto the air what we were just talking about. So we're going to have Peter Bukowski on from Locked On Packers, Leap Newsletter coming up here in about 12 minutes. I want to get back into this real quick, not specifically about Giannis. We're going to discuss John Horst, Charlie and I, right now. You all can sit back and listen. In what way should the general manager of this organization treat this situation, right? So how does he go about his job and do it the correct way? Now, I told Charlie in the break, I was like, man, look, I'd be like, guys, either you trust me or you don't, man. I think I've got enough of a track record right now of helping to get you a championship, getting you all these pieces along the way, mortgaging draft capital, our owners are spending all this money to keep you happy, all this, that we don't need to be playing games anymore, right? Are we on the same page or are we? Do you trust me or not? Because if you don't, then we can talk about me moving on, you moving on, whatever. But it doesn't make any damn sense after all this time for you not to trust me. You said you agree.
I do. I think that's very much the conversation you need to have if that hasn't been had yet.
And I think, again, we have no inside knowledge. I think what's happening is whatever you want, dude. Whatever make you happy. Who do you want? Give me a list of some guys. I'll go get you some guys. Nobody's stepping to that cat. No chance. No way. No chance. I don't believe that for a second. Because they all know one thing. If Giannis leaves, they're all screwed. Because then John Horst, who has built this nice resume, right? Done a lot of creative, fun stuff. Pulled rabbits out of the hat. We gave him all the credit for Miles Turner. Damian Lillard. Nobody saw that one coming. He deserves all those flowers. But once he's out, now you got to start from scratch with this thing. And the owners now have to try to sell tickets to an circus, essentially, or whatever you want to call it. That's not going to be very good. Then times are going to get tough. These guys haven't been here when they were horrible. They got here at the beginning when it was starting to build. You already had Giannis, and guys kind of saw the future of where this was going, and they saw Giannis's work ethic, and they had an idea of where this was going. They have not been here to go, okay, how the heck are we going to get another guy in the next 20 years? And then will they stay for that whole time? Will they sell and get the heck out? Who knows? But that point in time, and what happens after that, nobody over there wants to have that start right now. They want to push that as far away as humanly possible and act like, nope, it's not happening. We're going to continue on with this dude forever. He'll retire a buck one way or the other, but we will not allow him just to go and be traded or whatever else. We're going to do whatever we can to make this guy happy because they know all of them will be looked at completely different once Giannis is gone because then everybody's going to go, John Horst wasn't as good as you thought he was. Look, he can't get this thing out of last place. They win 15, 20 games every year. He was overrated. Giannis made that dude. You know that's what's going to happen. Everybody's going to be like, Giannis made John Horst. It wasn't John Horst. So now John Horst's credibility is going to go in the toilet as soon as he can't turn it around and find a superstar right away, which, again, odds are very slim that he will. And there's going to be a struggle for quite some time. So you can't step to Giannis and say what I said. Because if he goes, you know what, you're right, I don't trust you. Screw you, trade me. Right? Now you're all screwed. Now it's done. Now it's all done. Now it's over. And now you got to rebuild now. Instead of kissing his rear end, doing what he says, and pushing this as far out as possible and hoping that you can do enough to maybe get yourself another ring on the way out before he leaves. And then you have to start over because he's retiring or whatever happens.
I don't know. I can't believe in that because of the era that the NBA is in right now is kind of in that transition period. And I think if you're going to start over your team, right now would be the best time to start over your team as you're starting to see that transition to a more of a team style. Everybody plays every position style
of
of basketball.
Second apron is killing teams.
Exactly. So people are starting to change the way that they're building teams. So you want to try to get ahead of that. I think you're starting to see that in the NFL a little bit with this kind of two tight end craze and the running back starting to come back in a different way. You're starting to see teams try to get ahead of that. So if you wanted, or if you felt like that Giannis was going to say that in that situation, then I think this would be the best time to go and take that gamble. At the same time, I think if you're going to take that gamble, I think there's a much higher percentage chance that Giannis says, yes, I trust you. I'm with you. Let's do this. Like, don't worry. Like, we're all good. No matter what I say outside of this office, we're all good. If I see that as like an 80% chance of him saying that, a 20% chance of him being angry and leaving.
Okay, so let's say he says that. Right. Let's say you're the role of Giannis, and you go, John, dog, man, we're good, man. I trust you. You're my guy. I love you, John. I know you'll do right by me, but just ignore everything I say out of the office. Don't worry about that. You just focus on doing what you do, and don't worry about what I'm saying. If I'm John, I'm like, what are you going to say that we're not going to have to worry about? What exactly are you going to say? Well, I'm not going to say I'm good. I'm just going to keep leading these guys on so everybody looks at me and talks about me the whole time. But don't worry, John, I trust you. No matter what happens, I trust you. I got you. I'm not going anywhere. And if you're John Horst, you're like, oh, okay, I guess. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. You trust me and you're in, then tell everybody you trust me and you're in.
Unless we're looking at like what Turner is saying in the YouTube comments here, and he's standing there and he's in that situation where John Horst has some other kind of plan for the way Giannis should handle himself in this offseason in order to get some more kind of value, which I think is giving a lot of credit to the front office, probably more credit than they may deserve in this situation. At the same time, I don't think it's that unlikely.
Potawatomi Sportsbook, that's where you can go to watch all your favorite sports games. Get away from the drama a little bit of Giannis. 30 sport events at one time, 2,000 square foot center screen, 6,500 square feet of goodness at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. 48 beers on tap, a dozen different specialty cocktails. The Potawatomi Sportsbook kitchen is amazing. All kinds of great, delicious food, plus homemade desserts and pastries every day made on site. All day brunch to go along with the burgers, the wraps, the salads, the wings, all that stuff. And gambling kiosks, in and out type service. If you don't have time to hang around the sports book, get out of your car, make a couple wagers, get back in your car, continue on with your day or your night. Right there, 4th floor skywalk. Walk in. It's right to your left. Rock and Brews. Love their personal pizzas. Either way, take advantage of that too. I always say, reserve ahead of time. Get yourself a seat so you're not standing all night. Potawatomi.com/sportsbook. Potawatomi.com/sportsbook. Nominal fee, but it goes towards your food and beverage, and you will be all set. Coming up next, Peter Bukowski, Locked On Packers podcast, part of the Leap newsletter as well. That's all straight ahead. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the 1250 AM 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. Welcome back. See Sparky Fifer with you. Charlie Usen over there, other side of the glass. Coming up momentarily, Peter Bukowski, Locked On Packers podcast, Leap newsletter. U.S. Cellular, been with them for 10, 12 years, 15 years, I'm not sure. Over a decade, though, for sure. And I get to participate in Us Days. You can, too, but you have to be a U.S. Cellular customer. And if you are, you're it, baby. Exclusive event to celebrate loyal customers with unique offers. This includes big discounts on new phones and tablets, plus other giveaways and events like parking lot parties. Some of these, like I said before, you get food trucks, DJs, bag games, all kinds of stuff going on around the countries at all these different parties. Check it out today, uscellularparty.com. Uscellularparty.com. It goes to July 16th, so next week, right? That's the last week of it. Customers who visit a store or check out the website can check out the best upgrade offers of the season. I've been with them forever. I don't fight with customer care people. I go in. I had a problem with an LG phone back in the day. Got that taken care of. Switched out phones. No issues. Like, they're just amazing. I love them. My family all has them. So highly, highly recommend U.S. Cellular. Check out, again, the website. Go get yourself to a party. uscellularparty.com. And it should be a fun time. All right, we're efforting Peter Bukowski and getting Peter Bukowski on Locked On Packers and the Leap newsletter. So when we talk about where we are at with this Milwaukee Brewers team while we wait for Peter Bukowski, they are a game and a half out of first place, pending the outcome of this Cubs game, and the Cubs were winning at last check. So with the Cubs' victory, they will be 2 games out with 3 games to go to the All-Star break. And the question I have is this. How much of a need do you think adding a bullpen arm is for the Milwaukee Brewers? How much of a need do you think adding a bullpen arm is for the Milwaukee Brewers? Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250, Facebook and Twitter at The Fan Milwaukee. The reason I bring this up was because we were having a conversation off the air between the Mason Crosby show and this show about the Brewers bullpen. And like Jared Koenig, for example, and Mears, for example. Some of these dudes feel like they are pitching every night. And with Koenig specifically, you've seen some turbulence along the way for Jared Koenig. You've seen issues. To the point now where I specifically, myself, I'm not going to speak for you, when Jared Koenig comes in the game, I'm a little nervous. I'm a little nervous about what Jared Koenig are we going to get today. And I'm not going to say it's all because of wear and tear on the arm and so forth, but you have 2.5 months left of the season, and then you got to get to the playoffs. And Jared Koenig, you got to have him right for the postseason, right? Uribe, you trust? Trevor McGill is an all-star in the back end, so your 8th and your 9th inning, you're good. Koenig or Mears should be your 6th or 7th inning guys at this point. We talk about getting a power bat, and I'm still on getting a power bat first and foremost. That still is number one. But maybe adding another power arm to that back end of that bullpen, maybe somebody that can alleviate some of the innings being thrown by Jared Koenig and Mears, might be a way to go here at the end of the month that you can get somebody relatively cheap. Bullpen arms normally don't cost anywhere near as much as a big bat or a starting pitcher. Normally get those a lot cheaper and can have a pretty sizable impact on your playoff run if you're the Brewers, if you can go acquire yourself another reliever, again, to give some help to the rest of that bullpen so they're not having to pitch every day, it feels like. All right, we have tracked down our guy Peter Bukowski from Locked On Packers and, of course, the Leap newsletter. He joins us now on the Fancast hotline powered by Gruber Law here on Wisconsin Sports Daily. What's going on, sir? How are you?
I'm trying to stay cool out here.
Cool? Where are you? Peter Bukowski?
You there, guys?
Yeah, I'm here. Are you, where are you at? Are you on an island somewhere? Where are you?
No, I'm just outside in the sun. It's hot.
Oh, yeah, it's not as hot here, but I am sure it's probably hot where you are. Oh, okay, so I want to get you on because I saw Brett Coleman, who we've had on the show before, and I've been trying to get on since his tweets, and I've had no luck. And he's an NFL, film guy, analyst, whatever the case may be, and has been around for quite a while. And I saw you get kind of perturbed by what Brett Coleman was saying, because he essentially said that this Packers team, the defense specifically, was held together with duct tape because of how good Xavier McKinney was. It was able to look better than maybe what it truly was at the end of the day. You had lots of thoughts on that, so I wanted to bring that to the radio. My first question for you is this. Do you think Xavier McKinney can duplicate, again this year, what he did last year?
I'm gonna flip the question a little bit and say I don't think he has to. I don't think he has to have 8-9 interceptions for him to be just as impactful on this defense, because I think this is a little bit a case of the hay is already in the barn with this. When we saw him in the first 5 games have 5 interceptions, teams just stopped throwing deep. Don't you remember in November about last season, he on the record said, I'm getting kind of annoyed because they don't even throw at us anymore.
Right.
Like, he's like, I'd like to see some action. But it was the case that he and Evan Williams on the back end were so scary to opposing quarterbacks that they just said, we're not throwing deep. We're just not going to do it. Like, I know they play a lot of cover 2, and that was part of Brett's response was, oh, no, they...
Cell phone gods just took Peter Bukowski's soul, I think. Hello? I think he's on an island. I think he is. I don't know where outside is necessarily. I think he's like, check his phone. Either that or he's got he needs a new phone. I don't know. Very weird. Very, very weird. Normally Peter Bukowski's cell phone is pretty muddy. We don't normally have issues talking to Peter Bukowski, but that man was Peter Bukowski was literally talking, and all of a sudden it was like they took his soul and he was just gone, like vaporized.
Like he got abducted by aliens.
Yes! It was like, and no Peter Bukowski. What in the world? Peter Bukowski, try number 2. Be careful out there, man. It sounds dangerous.
Sorry, the aliens.
Yes.
I had to fight them off a little bit. But we're all good now.
That's
we're all good.
All right, go ahead. Sorry, you got cut off. Go ahead.
Yes. So my point is, I think the impact that he was able to have in the second half of last season, when it was the fear factor with him, which the Packers, when was the last time they had a safety like that? It had to have been Nick Collins.
Yes.
So we're talking about 15 years ago. That quarterbacks were just like, we don't want to do this. We're not having a good time throwing at Xavier McKinney. And so I think that part of his game is going to translate unless and until he starts playing materially worse. I just don't see any evidence for why that would happen. I do understand, because Packer fans just saw this. A guy gets signed and play much worse after being an All-Pro. It happened with Devondre Campbell. But Xavier McKinney is 26 years old versus an aging linebacker, had some injury issues his whole career, continued to have injury issues. I don't see any reason why Xavier McKinney can't keep getting better, even if he doesn't have 8-9 interceptions this year.
Peter, he brought up a bunch of stats, and some people were talking to Brett Coleman of come on, man, they're top 10 in every category. And then he went and found a bunch of, advanced metrics or whatever the case may be. And one of them he brought up was, those negative plays, and that the Packers didn't create a lot of negative plays for the other teams. But to that point, that's a lot of front 7 stuff. And to that point, they really haven't gotten better in the front 7, have they?
Yeah. No, they haven't. And they're betting on internal development for that. They're betting on Jeff Hafley for that. They're betting on coverage to make their pass rush better. We usually think of it the other way around, right? The pass rush creating opportunities for your corners. But if your coverage is a half second stickier, that's an extra half second for your pass rush to get home. And in the NFL and pass rush situations, a half second is a hell of a lot. So I think that's part of it. But I also, I was a little bemused reading some of it, because I'm a stats guy. I like to dig into that stuff. But he's giving me their passer rating in the middle of the field on explosives. It's like, my guy, you could do that about the Legion of Boom Seahawks and find a cohort. This was the example I used on Locked On Packers the other day. The 2019 49ers were among the worst defenses in the league. They were the number 1 defense in the league. But among the worst defenses in the league defending the deep ball. That's a big problem, right? You can't give up explosive plays. But guess what? No one could throw deep on them because Nick Bosa and Eric Armstead and DeForest Buckner were coming at your quarterback.
Correct.
So it's like, okay, if they have this passer rating in the middle of the field, that's really good. Okay, that's one thing. But no one wants to throw there because of Xavier McKinney, because of Edgerrin Cooper. Edgerrin Cooper, by the way, led all linebackers last year in positively graded plays, according to Pro Football Focus. 62% of Edgerrin Cooper's plays were positively graded. He is a rising star in the NFL. And if that's your middle of the field defense, if that's your spine, teams are just not going to want to throw there.
Yeah, and I agree with you on that. Peter Bukowski, Locked On Packers, Leap newsletter as well. Follow him on Twitter at Peter_Bukowski. You had another tweet that I found interesting, talking about comment made by Dominique Foxworth about Packers defenses of the past versus now. Talk about that.
Yeah. When he said this on a podcast on Mina Kimes show, I just was so mad. I was so mad that I didn't think of it. It was such a good point that for years we thought of these teams as underachieving, highly talented teams. And I remember saying, and I was not the only one saying this, that look, at a certain point, if you don't produce, we can't just talk about the talent.
Yep.
But the only time we talk about talent, right, is when the players aren't as good. If they're good, we just say they're good. We don't say they're talented. We say they're good. And so now this is sort of a no-name defense a little bit. And you're getting productivity from Keyshawn Nixon and, Nate Hobbs, who is, a nicely paid free agent, but not someone who is going to, sell tickets exactly. And Carrington Valentine and a lot of these guys, even Evan Williams is kind of a blue collar day three safety, that now this is the best defense they've had of the Matt LaFleur era. And it's not Lucas Van Ness leading the charge. It's not Quay Walker, although he had, a nice run in the middle of last season. It's kind of these other guys that are holding everything together. It's a little ironic, right? That this is the best version of this team is maybe the least talented group that we've seen in Green Bay in the Matt LaFleur era.
The other thing I wanted to bring up with you, separate from the Brett Coleman tweets and you going back and forth and having your way with that, is a piece they did on ESPN grading the Packers offseason. And we're going to get more into this coming up at 4 o'clock when we do our Green and Gold update brought to you by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. But Seth Wilder was the one that wrote that piece. And he was hypercritical over the Packers signing of Aaron Banks, how much they paid him, about they could have got Becton for less, and they could have got Zeitler for less, and so forth, and just really poo-pooed their offseason because of that one in particular signing of Aaron Banks. Agree or disagree?
I think it is a little foolish to me to try and indict an entire offseason because you overpaid for a starting offensive line. Look around the league. How many teams have 5 offensive linemen that they feel good about? It's a small number. So why is that like the worst sin imaginable? A mediocre guard. Okay, he's 26, 27 years old. Kevin Zeitler's in his 30s. I know he's coming off a better season. That's a different proposition here. It is weird. They paid more than I thought he was going to get. They paid more than I would have wanted to pay, but that doesn't mean that the whole offseason stunk because of it. I don't understand that part of it. And I think at this point, the Packers, from a development standpoint, have to get the benefit of the doubt when it comes to offensive linemen. Because no one thought Zach Tom was going to come in and become a Pro Bowl player.
Right.
No one thought Rich Walker was going to come in and become a quality starter in the 7th round. They've done that, and they've done it over and over and over, going back to Josh Sitton and TJ Lang and David Bakhtiari and all the names we know. This has just been what Green Bay has done over and over and over. And let me just add this little piece in here. I had Joe Thomas on Locked On Packers recently, and he was talking about all of the cross-training that the Packers do, and they just throw everything at these guys. And he's like, that's the way every team should do it. Every team should be saying, hey, we're going to teach you everything we can possibly throw at you, and we're going to see what you can do and what you can't do. And then at the very least, we understand, all right, how can we move forward with you, rather than if we do it slow and slow and slow, by the time they get to a place where, oh, wait, there's a problem, well, it's too late. You've already wasted all this development time. So I do think the Packers have a little bit of a secret sauce when it comes to developing offensive linemen as well.
Where does Jordan Morgan play in week 1? Is he a starter? And if so, where on the line?
I think he's the starting right guard for the Packers. I think I kind of low-key think that's where they want him to start. And I have a hard time believing he's going to beat out Rasheed Walker.
Yeah, I have the same hard time believing the same thing. I would guess that's where he is as well. Peter Bukowski, Locked On Packers, Leap newsletter. Follow him on Twitter at Peter_Bukowski. Way out.
Locked On Sports today, we've got a huge Locked On Podcast Network Top 100. The only good list of the offseason is the Locked On Top 100. Don't worry. We got a show coming out, breaks down all of it. It's going to be really fun. That's coming out next week.
You tell those boys to get you a cell phone sponsorship. I got U.S. Cellular. That's my deal. Maybe I'll see if I can hook you up and get you a new phone. We'll see if we can make that happen, Peter. Thank you so much, my friend. There he is, Peter Bukowski, Locked On Packers. Leave a newsletter. Follow him on Twitter at Peter_Bukowski. That was some wild stuff with that phone. His phone popped out again, and he went into an echo chamber, like he was in a bathroom or something.
He was fighting the aliens or something.
Like he was fighting the aliens, right? Or he was on planet Mars or something while he was doing the rest of that interview. Very, very weird. Coming up next, back to Giannis. Not going to yell, not going to scream. We're going to play some of these clips with this dude I just learned about today. I Show Speed. There are some funny bits. He breaks a chair, has some other things happen. So we'll get into that coming up here at 3 o'clock. Tim Dillard, FanDuel Sports Network, Wisconsin Brewers analyst, coming up at 3:20. Charlie, sounds of the day. What will they be today at 3:40? That's all coming up. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. Live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM, the Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. Don't forget, Peter Bukowski joined us on the Fan Guest Hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all.